Go ahead and get started here. We have North Carolina head coach Anson Dorrance and Brianna Pinto. We'll start with a statement from Coach Dorrance, and then we'll go ahead into questions.
Sure. Well, obviously, we're thrilled to be in the championship game. Obviously, playing a formidable opponent. We're very excited about the matchup, but also with this great opportunity. So we are absolutely thrilled and proud to be here. And I was trying to think if there are any more Pac-12 teams we haven't played this year, and yeah, we have skipped a couple. But we are excited and looking forward to tomorrow.
And with that, we'll open it up for questions. Go ahead, second row.
Coach, what's the mood among the squad heading into tomorrow night's game?
Oh, they're absolutely excited. I mean, just being in the Final Four is tremendous achievement for any team. So we're certainly proud of the fact we got here. We're proud of the fact we survived the semifinal, and we are in a wonderful mood, and we can't wait for tomorrow.
Go ahead. Here.
Brianna, in the short time that you've been at UNC, you've established yourself as probably one of the best players in the country, if not the best player in the country. Have you exceeded or met any of those expectations that you put on yourself when you came on to UNC?
One of my goals coming to North Carolina was to win a national championship, and to be here 2 years, like as a sophomore, and compete for one in a Final Four. I think that's a testament to what this program has to offer, and the two teams that I've been a part of. Obviously, like we're really excited for the opportunity to be back. This is something we've dedicated our entire season on. So we're going to take it full force. We respect our opponent, and we're going to do everything in our power to make those dreams a reality.
Can I make
Yeah, of course.
follow-up real quick on that? Because you've had all eyes on you since you were a kid, still a kid, but when you were younger. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the spotlight and the attention and still focus on performing?
Coming to North Carolina, like you want to follow in the footsteps of the courageous women who paved the path before us. With that being said, there's an expectation that you hold yourself to a standard every single day, and when that becomes your reality, like everyday thing, it becomes something you're comfortable in and something you embrace. And I love going to practice every day, getting to work, because when it's game day and the lights are on and everybody's watching, like it's second nature.
Anson, this is a question for Pat James, who go Heels back home. He spoke to Bridget yesterday, and she said that everything in her senior year has kind of clicked for her, not only as a player but as a teammate and a leader. How have you seen that manifest itself in Bridget?
Yeah, Bridget's evolution as a soccer player and a human being has been remarkable from her freshman year. And she would be the first one to admit that when she came in as a freshman, she thought the universe revolved around her. And her evolution as a player and as a person has just been extraordinary. And I think what she's realized is how much her relationships with the kids in her team are important to her. And I think that's been a part of her, I guess, human evolution. So she's also getting better as a player. I had a conference with her in January, and I was letting her know that I thought she had huge potential. But I didn't really think that she had achieved it, and so I told her I didn't think she was going to have an opportunity to sign a pro contract because she just hadn't committed herself to the game. And then all of a sudden, it was one of these very tearful player conferences. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the spring and through the summer and early part of our season and right up until now, you saw this 180 in every respect. Her commitment to her own development as a player, her commitment to her teammates, her relationships with everyone from the staff right through the player roster. And I could not be prouder. And now I am absolutely convinced she's going to sign a pro contract.
And Brianna, kind of following up on that, what have the seniors meant to this team?
The seniors make this journey incredible, because every year seniors, it's their last year, and they're playing with a fire underneath them because they've got something to prove. I think this year's senior class, they bring so much personality to the group, and they lead us in so many different unique ways, which is helpful because we have a big freshman class and there are multiple people you can go to for things you need in terms of like self-development and just like finding your way like within this team. And I think having the senior class step up in so many different ways throughout the season has ultimately allowed us to be where we are today. And I'm so grateful to play with each and every single one of them. And I love getting to know them for years to come because the relationships here at Carolina are so incredible.
Second row.
For Coach, you've gone down in the last 2 consecutive games and then rallied back to win. What do you think that says about your team?
Well, I think the athletic cliche for that sort of progression is character. And it's almost like it's the statement you always make, you know, it's a team of tremendous character. But one of my favorite texts from the alumni that obviously are very excited that we're in the final, I can't remember who it was from. Maybe it was Jessica McDonald, a world champion. She was talking about how Strickland had missed that opportunity. Was it in the previous game?
Yes. For CC.
It was the same ball from the same player from the same spot, and she had headed it basically down near. She had headed it near post, and it had gone wide. And we talk about this all the time in training, in different parts of our sessions. We talk about good habits, and good habits are basically certainly in heading is heading the ball down, heading it back where it came from, and all the elements of good habits. And so even though I'd love to, you know, follow the athletic cliches about great character, and it's such a simple thing to write about, and if you want to check that box, I'm not going to have an issue with it. But if you want to truly be an elite player in an elite team, that's what winning championships in our sport comes down to, is a habit where you're heading the ball down or knocking it back where it came from or shooting it low across the frame. And so all these elements, and no better example than watching Stanford finish against UCLA. I mean, holy cow. When you're looking at Sophie Smith shoot the ball, it's basically low, and it's across, and it's side panel. I mean, all the elements for her, and would you say, well, what incredible character? No, what you would say is, you know what? This extraordinary player has worked on this, and the hours she's put in have produced that sort of finish. And so let's not give the cliched answer. Let's get back to the fundamental elements as to why anyone's a world champion or a national champion. And let's get back to what it is, which is hard work. And so that's my answer.
Jorge?
Kind of going off of Sophie Smith, what are you planning to do tomorrow to limit the impact of Stanford's wingers, since all 4 goals came from there?
Well, obviously, I'd love to give you an in-depth analysis of what we're going to do, but clearly I'm not going to mention any of that to the press, because then obviously you have to write about it, and then they get to read about it. So why I would even entertain that kind of question is beyond me. So ask a different question, like, what's my favorite color?
Fair enough. What is your favorite color?
Actually, I'm a huge fan of this blue, even though that's our, my dad was a conservative, and if I ever showed up in that blue, I'd think he'd disown me. So, and by the way, he was a UCLA graduate, so maybe I was trained to have only one color of socks in my drawer, and it was this color.
And some devastating loss of Emily Fox. Morgan Goff goes back in the lineup after not starting for second half of the season. Talk about what she brought last night.
Yeah, I mean, here's a kid that uncomplainingly sits in a reserve role as a senior. And now all of a sudden, you know, her number is called. And if you look through the clips of, you know, when we were up against it, you're going to see Morgan Goff heading balls out, tackling balls, clearing them out, and helping us win a really difficult game against a wonderfully aggressive Washington State team. And so there's a wonderful example of a senior that has now fought her way into the lineup because of injuries and then just answered the call. So I'm proud certainly of her, Bridget, also a senior starter, And then my reserve unit, the reserve unit is basically the front line of the reserves. The left wing, Rue Muchereras had a phenomenal year at left wing, and you can see why. Everyone knows what she's going to do. The coaches that are, coaching Stanford are going to say she's got this step over move, and she's going to push it by, and then she's going to accelerate onto it and cross it. And you know what? It doesn't matter. Because if you decide you want to tackle her, you've got to take a huge physical risk. And very few people are willing to do that. So Rue is having a phenomenal senior year. Zoe Rade, as our reserve 9, has also had a fantastic year, has Maddie Schultz, and so my seniors, and Brianna referenced it, are extraordinarily noble in their role, because as all of us know, they could whine and complain about, hey, here they are seniors and they're not starting, because Zoe, her freshman year, was my best player. She was my best player her freshman year. And so she could, be resentful or, unappreciative and been a cancer, and she's not. She's a wonderful young woman, and she's embraced this role and has been a part of helping lead this team to another championship game, and I give her absolutely full credit. Yes, I'm proud of Morgan, proud of Bridget as starters, and then proud of the front line that steps up when we sub with 15 minutes to go in the first half.
Also, talk about how successful recruiting in the Triangle area specifically.
Oh, with all the
last few
kids we
years
brought in?
has-
Yeah.
Has bettered our program.
Yeah, I've got to give full kudos to Damon Nahas, who was a local youth coach in our community, winning national championships at a youth level, which is incredibly difficult for a team from North Carolina. As anyone knows, certainly you guys out here would know. The soccer hotbeds are Southern California, and to some extent, obviously, Northern California. And so for a coach from North Carolina to take a youth team to win a couple national championships is just extraordinary. It's like a team from Mexico competing in the ice hockey, world championships. I mean, it's just very, very difficult. And so I give Damon full credit, because the teams he's coached and the teams his brother has coached, and we recruited all of these kids off of a team Damon used to coach, that his brother now coaches in the Research Triangle area, is to his credit, because the girl that scored that header, the game-winning header the other day, that's Damon's kid. And the kids that came in to play in that reserve unit, a lot of them are also Damon's kids before he jumped into the collegiate ranks. And so I have huge respect for what he's done in the state of North Carolina, huge respect for what he's done for my college team, and obviously the respect all of us have, including the kids that have played for him, that all came in this past season, is to his credit. So it's had a huge impact on this season for the University of North Carolina.
Yeah, so Brianna, being in this game last year, what are you telling the freshmen that haven't experienced the national championship game yet?
So this has been a huge conversation we've had the entire year. You never know what it's like until you're in the moment, but we've done everything in our power to describe how playing in the national championship is unlike anything you've ever been a part of, and you have to devote every ounce of your being to leaving it all in the field, because everybody on the field wants to be a national championship, including the opponent. So this morning, actually, we talked with Luke May and Kenny Williams, who were on the 2017 Carolina basketball team, and they spoke to us about their journey coming back from losing in the championship and then going back and winning it. And they spoke to the freshmen about how you have to come in and play your role and play for the seniors, because this is their last time to take the field in a Carolina uniform. And playing for the seniors not only gives you an inner motivation to want to do it, but it inspires you in a way, because the seniors are going to want to go out on top. And as a sophomore, I want to see nothing more than to send our seniors out with a national championship.
Go ahead.
Coach, what kind of game do you expect tomorrow? You guys have one of the best defenses in the league, and Stanford has one of the best offenses. Does that suggest to you it's going to be a KG match?
What kind of match?
A tight KG game.
Well, if you look at the juggernaut that is Stanford, and you look at, possibly the best player on our roster is injured, we're juggling right now. We're trying to, pave over, holes in the lineup. We're trying to, change things around in order for us to be competitive. So I think if you had to answer that question objectively, what you would say is Stanford is certainly favored to win. They certainly were coming into the NCAA tournament as the number one seed. And since we're the team right now that has probably suffered the most injuries coming in, that would also mitigate our opportunity. So when you put all those things together, when you also put together that basically this is a home game for Stanford, it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for us in one of those rare moments to be the underdog. So we're going to play that card to what extent we can, because this is, the way I look at it, this is just pure opportunity. This is like we're playing with house money, because, what do we have to lose? And that's the way we're going to play it. I don't think I'm going to lose any sleep tonight, waiting for the game tomorrow. I think my kids are going to be so excited to have this wonderful opportunity. I would love to pretend it's going to be one of these incredible up and back games, but based on what I saw yesterday, I think there's the distinct possibility that Stanford's going to sit on us. And if we can, dodge bullets and this sort of stuff and counterattack effectively, maybe we can steal one or two. But I would be just, insane to pretend that, oh yeah, we have this elaborate strategy where, we're going to sit on them. And but no. I mean, let's be realistic. That's one of the best front lines in collegiate soccer of all time. And keep in mind, I've coached a front line with Christine Lilly, Mia Hamm, and Rita Tower on it. And I would put up this line against it. So that's how good I think the Stanford lineup is. And so there is my absolutely candid response to that.
Go ahead.
Since you mentioned some of those legends right there, how does this 2019 squad, I hate to say, kind of compare to some of your past championship squads?
If it were healthy or now?
If it were healthy.
I'd put us up. Emily Fox is unstoppable. Unstoppable. Let me say it again in case you missed the first two. Unstoppable. No better example than her first goal against USC. She basically dribbled through their entire lineup and shot it inside 12. No one can stop her 1v1. And of course her pace also helps us defensively. So yeah, that team. Now obviously we've got a different sort of challenge because now we have to change systems and shift people around, and now it's sort of smoke and mirrors. But that team, yeah, that team would be hard to stop.
Any other questions? Great, thank you guys. Thank you.